Welcome to a special edition of the Tim and Chuck Show. I am Tim McDonough, joined by my esteemed colleague Chuck Martinez-Brandon, and we have with us special guest Sam Hornish Jr., three-time IndyCar champion, 2006 Indy 500 champion, and NASCAR driver. Sam, welcome to the show.
I thought you were going to say I'm just all-around good guy, but we didn't get that far. Thank you for having me on. This is much different than many of the other interviews I've done with the two of you. So.
Right. Well, that's obviously true. Yeah, for sure. Well, Sam, obviously you ran a limited race schedule this year. Talk a little bit about the season that you just had, including your win at Iowa on Father's Day.
Yeah, one of the races that we didn't really think that we were going to get the opportunity to run this year, it kind of just stepped up and got the opportunity to fill in for Matt Tifft, who was having some health issues at that point in time. And for me, I really enjoy the fact of getting to spend time with my kids and to do different things with them. And I feel like I worked pretty hard to try to be a good dad. So over the past, 8-9 years since my oldest was born, that was kind of my goal and my dream, was to get to victory lane. And the other races that I won in the Xfinity Series, they didn't happen to be there for. It was either on the West Coast or it didn't work out to where that they could be there. So the fact that we were able to do that and I was able to share that with them, that meant more than the win itself. So something that I'll definitely never forget.
All right, you've been spent a lot of time out of the race car. What are some of the other things that you've been doing? You've still been around racing though.
We've been around racing for sure, and I don't think, regardless of what happens, I don't think that that's ever really going to change. I've done some testing, done some other racing, and the opportunities that I've had with RCR to get in the car this year, especially the Mid-Ohio race. I felt like we had a really good opportunity to win that, and just weather prevented us from doing that. And but it did make it a lot more exciting for the fans to be able to watch some racing, because I feel like if it hadn't rained, they would have watched the two car go by, and then about a minute later seen everybody else come around. Right. So that was definitely probably the best race car that I've had in stock cars, as far as that car in the dry in comparison to the competition. So it's shameful to let one get away like that, but we still came out with a second. It was a lot of excitement at different times for us and everybody else. But as far as being away from the track, I had the opportunity to go to Alaska with my dad this year and spend some time with him. I've done a lot of different things with my family. We've had the opportunity to move back to Ohio, and really in a lot of ways it was a little bit difficult for us to make that decision, probably more so for me than everybody else, because for me it's kind of like, if I want to continue to race, and especially if I want to do it full time, we should be in North Carolina, but it's kind of the point of putting what my goals and my aspirations are kind of to the side burner, and allow myself the opportunity to get the kids the opportunity to be around their grandparents and cousins and all the other people that are in our family and have supported us and done so many things for us over the years, to be back and to be able to help them out, and repaying some of the favors to my parents that I should have a long time ago, for try to get on the good son list again.
Well, in addition, Sam, like Chuck was saying, another opportunity you've had is to do television for NBCSN. Talk about doing that and being in front of the camera.
Well, this is a lot easier than that is in a lot of ways, because I'm commenting on myself still. It's a little bit more of an interview. Yeah. One of the most difficult parts about being an analyst and still being a race car driver is, if I say something about something that somebody doesn't like, they can have retribution while we're in the race car. Right. Yeah. And but it does allow me, while I still am racing, to come from a point of view where the fan, the person watching the show, can look at it and go, he knows, he's been out there, he runs up towards the front when he gets the opportunities to go out and run, so it puts a validity to it. But it's something that I never really thought that I would enjoy doing. It was something I never ever even wanted to do in the first place. As time goes by and you become more comfortable in front of the camera, things start to evolve, and it put me in a position where, for a few years, it's really just been one of those things where I enjoy when I get to do it. It seems like something crazy generally happens whenever I'm there and in studio. Whether it's the guy that won the race and transferred to the chase, gets a penalty, and everybody calls for them to be thrown out and not be able to go to the next round of the chase, or just whatever happens. But it's interesting, and it allows me to stay focused on it. But probably one of the more beneficial parts of all of it, really to my career, is that it keeps me in front of the camera. It keeps people thinking about me. So even though I'm not at the track a lot of times or in the race car doing interviews, there are people that sit there and they continue to see me. And when there's an opportunity to put me in a race car, it allows me to he's still involved with racing. It's a little bit different than what it used to be, but it's good.
Well, you mentioned family a little bit ago. Talk a little bit about, you have one family member who's sort of following in your footsteps with Hope Hornish, and she's been trying to move up the ranks too. Just talk a little bit about her aspirations in the racing world.
Yeah, it's interesting to see it from a different point of view for sure. And Hope is, the one thing that I know that I can always say about her, she's not afraid to try anything. Whether it was in school and she would go out for another sport just to do it, and all of a sudden it's like they win the state championship. I'm like, how does that happen? But she definitely likes to go and to do those different things, and she's been working hard to try to figure out what the next step is. She's going to college. She's trying to continue to do racing and to move forward with that. And she's signed up for a couple different programs, and it seems like it's just those things continue to happen for her. So I'm proud of the fact that she continues to put herself out there and to try and to do those things. And I think that when I look back at my racing career, I'm glad that in a lot of ways that I've been able to do it as long as I have been. But if it would have never went past what it was back in 1999 or however it would have been before I won my first IndyCar race in 2001, if it just kind of went up to that point, I would have looked at all the people that I met along the way to that point, the lessons that I learned from racing and from just the things that it teaches you about life. I think that it would have all been well worth it. So that's the one thing that I continue to try to look at and would reinforce to her, that no matter how this turns out, these are all learning experiences, so that's going to make you more well-rounded when you get further down the road and you have different situations, because it's just it's a different sport than what most of them are. We get the driver gets a lot of the glory when things go right, and they get a lot of the blame when it doesn't go right. So it's you just got to keep digging away at it, and I think that's neat to kind of see her progress and and put herself out there.
Now, Sam, you mentioned your racing career. What does the future look like for you? Is there anything on the horizon for at the end of this year? I mean, obviously the season's almost over, and what about beyond into next year?
It's the strangest things can happen. We went to North Carolina, last weekend, and we were just planning on going down there as a little family vacation, and then with Matthew coming through, everybody was concerned of how everything was going to play out with whether or not the Xfinity race would be before the Cup race. And if it was before the Cup race, I had two teams calling me about, could I come and run, their cars for them.
Wow.
if necessary. Well, the way the schedule went, they ended up putting the Xfinity race after the Cup race on Sunday. But I think with the way that these things are going, there's definitely those possibilities to have that opportunity to get out there and drive again. I don't know that there will be anything else for the rest of the year, but I'm just in a position right now where I want to take the opportunities that come along that are, I feel, worth my time. And I'm in a great position. I've been very, very fortunate to be able to be in that position where I don't have to be out there racing. After what I went through last year, I would rather sit here and take 4 or 5 races a year and have them be in a good equipment versus being out there and struggling in something that you just can't win in, because it's while the driver gets a lot of the credit, there's a lot that goes into the cars that make a difference on whether or not you can even run in the top 10.
Sam, we've asked you a lot of questions here, so we're going to let you get out of here. We appreciate you joining us here today, and keep us updated on what's going on. I'm sure that you'll be getting some phone calls from us.
Well, I thought you guys were going to hit me with the hard stuff, but you guys have kept it pretty easy.
yeah.
Always have been, but definitely enjoy getting the opportunity to sit down and talk with you guys. It seems like when you sit back and think about 16 or 17 years, it doesn't really seem like it's gone by that fast.
No, not at all.
But I mean, it's like a blink of an eye. But it's been neat. Always appreciate the local support and all the people that have given of their time and to come out and watch us race and to do different things, to come to the races, whether it's dropping a note in the mail or whatever happens to be. I've always known that the community has supported me, so I appreciate that and look forward to whatever the next thing happens to be.
Again, thanks to Sam Hornish Jr. on this special edition of the Tim and Chuck Show.